Whipple Family Misadventures Book 3. It's not about how much money you make, Chapter 2.
Okay,
Wade said 2 mornings later.
we're not doing worksheets today because I don't have time to do it with you today.
It was slightly difficult not to take their happy reactions personally. Wade knew that neither one of them was really excited about learning to read or now doing basic addition and subtraction. But he already knew that they would struggle with being different from everyone else because they were hedgehogs. He wasn't going to let either of them not know basic life skills either. Not to mention, there was guilt from skipping a day. Both were doing quite well. Both were somewhere around first grade reading and math level. And Wade didn't want either of them to lose momentum. But as he reminded himself, one day off during the week wouldn't hurt either. Overall though, teaching them at home had been going well. Wade tried to make sure that they got it done before Melissa arrived. She already did so much for him. It didn't seem fair to ask her to be a part-time teacher as well. Not to mention, Wade enjoyed it and the time he spent with his boys. During those times, he was the smartest person in the room and both kids thought he was a genius who knew everything. Especially since neither of them knew that much about it yet. They were both more than old enough to start learning and soon could start earning some pocket money, so both could learn the value of money.
Dad, can we see your phone again?
Wade paused briefly in the search of his keys, already dressed in several layers for work. The new icicles that were hanging from the porch indicated how cold it was outside.
Again? When did I let you have my phone the first time?
Silver blinked up at him instantly.
A few days ago, you showed us that thing, the online shopping. Can I see it again?
No, we're not looking at online shopping right now. I don't have time to, and neither of you need anything. Besides, I have to leave soon. Melissa will be here soon.
Shadow frowned from where he was sitting at the table.
She's not supposed to be here for hours. It's not even lunchtime yet.
Today she's coming early because I have to go to work early today.
And then you'll be back early?
Wade stopped.
No, buddy. After I finish this, I then have to work my full shift.
Both of his kids' expressions dropped at the same time, and Wade felt a horrible stab of guilt. This was the only part he disliked about being a single parent, and that he was needed to go to work to have money. But the more time he was at work, it was time he wasn't with his kids. It was an unfair cycle. Now he understood why rich parents who were always busy attempted to buy their kids love with endless toys and presents. It was easier than explaining why they had been gone all the time.
You're always at work.
Shadow said, crossing his arms.
I know. And I bet it's really frustrating for you guys, especially after I spent several weeks at home all day with you two. I wish I could do that again. I really enjoyed it. I would stay with you guys all the time if I could.
Silver leaned forward so he was balancing on his toes.
Why can't you do that again?
Because I have to go to work. Not because I want to, but because I have to. But we can plan something really fun for this weekend, okay? You guys think of some ideas and we'll make it something real fun. All three of us.
Maybe you could stop going to work.
That would be really nice, but I have to go. If I stopped going to work, then I'd run out of money and we wouldn't have food and the water and the electricity would be shut off. And I wouldn't be able to get gas for the car.
He watched as the two of them considered that. He could almost see the cogs spinning around in their little minds as they looked at each other for a long moment.
Can't we just go to the store and get stuff without money?
That's called stealing and it's illegal. I've arrested people who steal from stores. It's a crime and you get into a lot of trouble for it. And it's usually not a good idea for a police officer or his kids to steal from places. Especially in small towns like this where everyone knows everyone. Anyway, I was originally saying, the reason I'm leaving early today is to meet someone else who might be working with Tom and I in the future. And if that happens, I won't be at work until late at night. I'll be home earlier in the day, so I have to go talk to him, alright?
Okay.
Wade felt so awful. He wanted nothing more than to change out of his uniform and settle down with his kids and do whatever they wanted for the rest of the day. To spend such a cold day wrapped up in blankets and watching movies while drinking hot chocolate. But Tom needed him to do something, and after all the other man had done for him, he couldn't leave Tom hanging.
That's okay. We got something else to do today.
Shadow said, getting up and moving so he was standing next to his brother. Wade blinked.
Oh, you do?
Neither of them got the chance to answer. The doorbell rang and Wade went toward it to answer it and let Melissa inside.
Alright, I love you both. Be good. I'll see you later.
The last part was a bit of a lie, as they both would be asleep when he would come home. But he always said it anyways.
And that's it.
Wade said, coming to take shelter under an awning from the wind.
Main Street isn't very big, but it's got the basic stuff that we need.
The other man he was talking to, Eric Hunt, the officer who might be joining them from Utah, nodded. After several phone calls with Tom, he had arranged to spend 2 days in Green Hills before making a decision. Since Tom was busy and Wade owed him several favors, Wade had picked up the guy and was showing him around until it was time for his shift. Eric was a bit younger than Wade, had dark red hair, and looked like he practically lived in the gym.
What do you do if you need something that isn't available here in town?
Order it online or drive to another town that has it. There's a few bigger ones that have more selection that aren't too far away. So, what made you consider wanting to move to a small town in the middle of Montana? Seems like a big change from Utah.
Yeah, it is. Complete lifestyle change. I don't know. I've done the big city lifestyle my whole life, and I've gotten tired of it. I guess I wanted to see what country life is like. I've heard it can be peaceful, and I guess I could use some of that peace.
Even though Wade had only known the guy for about an hour, he could hear something in his voice, either a yearning for something more or an urge to escape something. It made him curious, but it wasn't Wade's place to pry, especially to someone he barely met.
Wade!
Turning, Wade saw Maddie across the street and waved to her.
Hi,
He said as she crossed towards them.
Eric, this is Maddie Wojcicki, Tom's wife. Maddie, this is Eric Hunt. He's a police officer thinking of moving here from Utah.
And my son is Park Willie brothers with his sons. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well.
Maddie glanced at Wade.
Did Tom talk to you about what he wanted to do with the kids? He said something about how...
Not sure.
Wade said hurriedly before she could reveal his kids had names that were technically nouns and in front of a stranger. He didn't want Eric to start asking questions.
I'll make sure to ask him about it later. And sorry, we've got to run. We'll see you later.
Even as they walked away, Wade could feel her confused stare on his back.
So,
Tom said, coming up to Wade's desk, not long after he had left Eric at his motel and had come to start his shift. Thankfully, Eric decided he wanted to walk around town by himself and not just sit at the station for several hours.
Maddie texted me that you were acting weird today.
Wade put the paperwork he was working on down.
Oh, I saw her when I was showing Eric around, and she was about to say something about the kids in front of him. Can you tell her I'm sorry?
That made Tom frown.
I think she'd like it better if it was from you. Also, if he moves here and starts working with us, he's going to have to know about them. It's not like those three can be kept under wraps for very long.
I know that. But first, he should move here before he finds out. What if we told him about the kids and then he didn't move here? And then there was just some guy in Utah who knew about the alien hedgehogs in this town.
Yeah, what did he think about everything here? He sounded pretty serious about moving to me when I talked to him on the phone earlier.
Wade shrugged.
He didn't say anything specifically about it. He said he was hoping for a change of pace, which is why he considered moving, but he didn't say if he actually was going to do it or not.
Honestly, if the guy did end up moving here, Wade had no idea how they were going to break the news. Would they just sit him down and say it? There was no easy way to tell someone that not only did aliens exist, that two different people in the same town had alien kids, and both of them happened to be his new co-workers, and that he would probably be saying those alien kids a lot. At best, it was weird. At worst, it was beyond creepy.
Hey, Wade.
Caitlin called from her desk.
Yeah, Caitlin?
Mick on Main Street just called. He said some teenagers threw a rock through the window of a shop. He wants someone to come down and take a look so he can file a report.
Wade stood up and reached for his coat.
I'm on it.
He glanced back at Tom.
Oh, and Maddie said he wanted to talk about something.
Tom waved one hand.
Not super important. We can talk later if you get back before I leave, or tomorrow. Don't worry about it.
It turned into a busier evening than Wade had originally thought it would be. After inspecting the broken window and helping board it up, Wade filed a report for the owner, then handed out 2 speeding tickets to 2 different people who thought they could get away with it because of the hour, and finally went to respond to a noise complaint. Not the busiest day he had ever had, but far more than it normally was. In the middle of helping board up the window, he got a text message from Melissa, simply saying that the packages for the kids had arrived, and she hoped he didn't mind that they were already opening them. Wade frowned at his phone and replied with what packages? He hadn't ordered anything lately, and there weren't a lot of people who might have wanted to send him something as a surprise gift. On a normal night, he would have stayed on top of staying in contact with his babysitter, but with work, he had to put it aside for a while and ultimately got caught up in everything he was doing. He forgot to check his phone again before his shift ended, which meant it led to quite the shock when he arrived home. It was late, almost 11 p.m., when he finally pulled into his garage and shut off the car. Like almost every other night when he got home, the boys were already in bed and sound asleep. That was one of the few perks of working late. He just came home, possibly took a shower, and then went right to bed. There was nothing else to worry about. Melissa was in the living room, working on her laptop when he came in from the garage. She had mentioned that she worked on homework for her college classes after the boys were safely in bed.
Hi, Wade.
She said softly, standing up when she heard him.
Everything go okay today?
Yeah, there were no issues. They really enjoyed all the Lego sets you got for them. I've never seen either of them so excited. I barely got either of them to part with them long enough to go to bed.
Wade froze in the middle of taking off his heavy winter coat.
The what?
The Lego sets that came today?
Coming fully into the living room, he could see the large pile of brown delivery boxes that had been carefully stacked next to the wood stove. And on top of the table was a box after box after box of different Lego sets. A few of them had already been opened. Most were from different movies, but all had something in common. None were the tiny little ones. All were big and extremely expensive. There were so many the wood of the table could barely be seen underneath it all. Wade stood there, frozen for a moment, trying to process what was in front of him.
When did these arrive?
Melissa looked confused.
This afternoon. The boy said it was for them. And you know about this?
I didn't know about this. This has to be some kind of mistake.
First, he checked the delivery boxes and was dismayed to find that all of them had been addressed to him, so it wasn't like this had been a case of wrong delivery. Then he took out his phone. Quickly, he pulled up the website that he usually used for online shopping, going to check his orders and stopped dead. Someone had ordered almost $2,000 worth of Legos. Horrified, Wade stared at it for a long moment before clarity hit him, like a truck. Someone, or two certain someones, who had been talking a lot about Legos a few days ago, had done this.
You little scams.
He muttered in both disbelief and a touch of awe. Now, a lot of things made sense, like how they had gone from completely interested in getting Legos to uninterested extremely fast when he had offered to let them do some work together to get money for it. But that still didn't explain how either of them had gotten access to his account to do this. He had been home with them, or they were with Melissa, and his phone had always been with him. He never seen either of his boys on his phone or computer. The fact that they were able to do that and to do it so fast, especially when neither of them had much experience using a phone, was the craziest part. As much as he hated to admit it, it was a bit impressive. He knew both of his boys were smart and resourceful, but this was taking it to a whole nother level. It also meant that he would have to go over why sneaking around behind his back and touching his stuff without permission was bad and was not allowed. And it meant that he needed to put better safeguards into place after he learned how they did this to make sure it didn't happen again. For one crazy second, he thought about marching into their room, waking both of them up, and pulling the two of them out here to get an explanation for this. But at the moment, he was upset, tired, and frustrated with the turn of events. If he got them up now, all that would come out of it if he tried to deal with it at that moment. This wasn't an emergency, and he didn't need to be dragging his sons out of their beds in the middle of the night to angrily lecture and discipline them.
I am so sorry. I thought you knew about this.
Melissa muttered as she picked up her laptop.
Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. You can go on home. We'll see you tomorrow.
She did, gathering up her things before she left. After a quick decision, Wade took every single Lego set, putting the bricks back into the open boxes, and carried them all into his room and stored them in his closet. Once that was done, he very carefully cracked their door open and peeked inside, listening to the sounds of both of his kids breathing softly in the dark. He was going to handle this in the morning and would make sure it would not happen again.